YouTube, it's me. It's Michael B, and it's Monday night. So you know what that means. We're going to get into it hard and heavy with the doom and the gloom, all the negativity of the home arcade space. Well, if you guys know me by now, which you should, not really that negative a person, but it's starting to look like it's going to be a very, very friggin' slow year in the home arcade space as we're already 5 months in. And we've only got 2 releases from Arcade 1-Up at this point with Golden Tee Deluxe and X-Men 97. And the only other scheduled home arcade, specifically arcade, release that we know of is the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K, which is coming out towards the end of the year. We're assuming sometime around December. So I'm asking the question tonight, is now the time to kind of give up on 2024, put away the hope wagon, and start looking forward to 2025, because a lot of cool stuff can happen in the future. But are we ready to, throw everything out for this year already, or could more cool stuff come? Well, let's talk about it. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. This is Chillin' Chat with Michael B. Hey, what's happening, everybody? So tonight, it's been busy. I got home from Calgary late Saturday night, and I've just been going nuts all day yesterday. I spent all day yesterday with my kids, keeping my kids out of the house so my wife could have a day to herself. So I was driving them around everywhere. I had some pickups to do, some clothing returns and stuff like that. I bought this dope Batman shirt, but unfortunately, I bought a tall version, and it wore like a nightshirt, so I couldn't keep it. So when I got back from my trip, I had to trade it in. And luckily, I traded it in for this super stylish Nintendo 64 shirt. So I'm pretty friggin' happy about that. I mean, anytime I can get Nintendo 64 gear, Mike's a happy guy. So I do miss my Batman shirt, but N64 rocking. That's what I'm talking about. So very busy yesterday. One cool thing I did was my Dragon's Lair Arcade 1-Up came into the brick while I was away on my business trip. So I picked that up yesterday. Then I had to figure out a way to find time to gut out the rest of my arcade, because I still had some storage stuff in the arcade space. So I had to gut that out. And I finally started building my Dragon's Lair Arcade 1-Up. I only got the riser done yet, but with the brick, you only got 2 days to build it, make sure it's okay before you bought it. It's too late, so you can't bring it back after 2 days. Luckily, today was a holiday, so I got an extra third day. So I've got to try to get that built after I finish the stream tonight, make sure everything's okay. And that's Arcade 1-Up number 9 in my little arcade. Maybe the last one I build for a while, buy for a while, because my plan is to move my Godzilla pinball in there. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, my arcade is all cleared out and ready to be filled in. So I'm finally reaching the finishing stages on the rebuild of the Michael B. Genie-cade. I can't wait to show you guys that. Anyways, I think you guys want to talk about what's on the thumbnail. That's always a good place to go. And tonight we're talking about Home Arcade 2024. Is all hope lost? You're probably wondering, why am I bringing that up now? I mean, it's been a pretty dismal year all year, but I can't not talk about what happened last week, which was supposed to be a path forward, a new venture, a new company stepping into the ring to compete directly with Arcade 1-Up, and we thought there was going to be something possibly available this year. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So let me just share screen here, and if my camera does weird stuff, ever since I did my pinball stream the other night, my camera is being really, really strange, so I apologize if it's doing weird shit there, guys. So let me get this up, and I'll just show you a little bit of what I'm talking about right now. So hopefully I'm not like, I feel like I'm kind of max headroom here with the camera going. Anyways, let's talk about it. So New Wave Toys last week announced this in partnership with Glenn Planamento. So they were coming out with Golden Tee, and much like I've said all year long, it's the year of Golden Tee. Everybody's doing Golden Tee. I mean, Jesus Christ. New Wave Toys is even doing Golden Tee. They're still doing the Golden Tee 3D Golf. We don't even get a variation on Golden Tee between the companies. Anyways, the Replicade was announced, and of course, with Glenn's control panel. So I think this is a really cool option. I mean, I've been talking about this all the way back to my Berserk Replicade and also with the Ghouls and Ghosts Replicade. A lot of people don't actually play the actual games on the Replicade. It's cool that you can, but they use them as a pass through, like a plug and play console. So, the obvious next step is to include an arcade accurate controller to play with, and that's what they're looking at here. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's probably going to be the most accurate way compared to the arcade to play Golden Tee at home. I'm talking in terms of the controls, because we know Glenn's going to kill it with the controls. We know New Wave Toys is going to kill it with the emulation, but it's probably not what everybody wanted. I mean, going all the way back to Cleveland in September, we were told New Wave Toys was going to be doing full-size arcades. For some reason, we thought they were going to be competing with Arcade 1-Up, and we didn't get that announcement here. Now, that's not to say that announcement isn't coming. Let me just pop this off screen for a second. Go back to the full screen. That's not to say this announcement isn't coming, because Shiloh on Glenn's show did go forward then and tell everybody, yeah, guys, guess what? I know you're disappointed, but we are going to compete with Arcade 1-Up. We're doing a competition, direct competition with Arcade 1-Up in the near future. And that is so friggin' exciting. So friggin' exciting. I've been saying this all year because New Wave Toys aren't stuck by the same limitations Arcade 1-Up are. Arcade 1-Up could come out with the coolest idea for an arcade cabinet in the entire world, anything you could dream of. And it doesn't mean shit unless a retailer picks it up. New Wave Toys has always been direct to consumer, so they're not confined to those restrictions. New Wave Toys can literally do what Arcade 1-Up can't in terms of releasing specific titles. Then on top of that, you get the quality of New Wave Toys, like the attention to detail. There's just so much hope and so much possibility there. But unfortunately, it's not happening just yet. So I think what's happening here, I want to bring up the Glenn piece again. Again, pretty cool for anybody that's excited for this. I mean, again, it's probably going to be one of the best at-home experiences for Golden Tee. If you don't mind not playing at an arcade, this is going to be dope. The only downside for me is the price point. Price point seems a little high, really good when you apply the discount. I think it works out to like $320 for the bundle, save 20% when you do it, or it's something like that. I think it's $350 with the bundle. I'd have to go back and check. But what kills it then again, for some people, the shipping is super high. So it's a tough one, right? It's that value proposition. If you really want it, you're going to go get it. These Replicades have gone up in pricing in $249 for Golden Tee, $199 when you use the code. So, I mean, I don't know, lots of options. Jason Little Alien, let me just bring this up. Releasing something for the golf fans is wise in your portfolio. No doubt, there is nothing wrong with this title. Good for New Wave Toys. They're not always going to make the games that we expect. Every now and then, they're going to go off the rails and make something that's not like a hardcore 80s title. They've got to. It's a business move. And if you don't like it, there's a very simple solution, guys. Just don't buy it. Show New Wave Toys with your wallet what you think of it. If you're not happy with them doing Golden Tee, you think that's off-brand or something that doesn't align with what you want from the company, just don't buy their product. It's not that hard. I mean, I don't think they're going to listen to online complaints. Companies don't give a shit about the online complaints as much as you would think that, we're going to make a difference by telling them online how stupid their idea is. Doesn't work. You know what does work? When no one buys their product. So if you don't like it, don't buy it. But again, for the people that do like this and are excited about it, really cool option. $400. Of course, when you get the money off, it's a lot better. Then with the shipping, it's tough. For me here in Canada, I'm looking at about $600 all said and done. I don't know how I feel. I've got a bunch of ways to play Golden Tee. I definitely would like to have the Replicade to go with the rest of my Replicade collection. I don't know what it is. I just like collecting this shit. And I think Glenn's deck's incredible. It's just $600, right? But the thing is, it's not what we thought it was. It's not a real arcade. So I'm going off on a tangent here, but you know how I am. This is not what I wanted. but it's still cool. Very cool for New Wave Toys. Very cool for Glenn. Cool partnership, and cool for anybody who wants it. I'm probably not going to be all in because of the price point by the time you include shipping. I am interested in the replicate, and that's where it is. So here's the thing, though. During that interview with Glenn, Shiloh did come out. Oh, why did I do that? Shiloh did come out and say, guess what, guys? Uh, Chris Seek says, our society is too lazy nowadays to drag all this out just to play Golden Tee on your TV versus a stand-up arcade that just needs to be turned on. That's an option. I like the control deck. I agree as well. One other thing, P-Dub said to me, I don't know if he said it on the air or if he said it after Super Game Room Dudes, that I thought was really smart is people are already complaining about having too much of this stuff around their home arcade stuff. Are we really going to get to the point where we're buying different decks for every little mini arcade that we have, and then you've got a shelf with 6-7 decks on it? I don't know. Like, I think it's a really cool idea, especially for those of the people who don't have room for a bunch of arcades in your house. You want like a arcade accurate control panel. This is something I always said Arcade 1-Up should do. So I don't really have that much of a problem with it from New Wave Toys. I think it's a cool idea, but I wanted full size arcades, but I digress. I'm going off the rails here. I did want to talk about the fact Shiloh did say, I know you're disappointed, but they're coming. Now, there's a couple things to take into consideration then. Like, obviously, as soon as I saw Glenn's school desk there, I knew all hope was lost for New Wave Toys releasing a arcade 1-Up competition, full size, or 7/8 arcade this year. I knew all hope was lost, so I kind of went into the announcement not as expected. I mean, once you saw Glenn's school desk drawing for the control panel, you knew that's not what they were doing. And a lot of people were still trying to, make this about making this work. And they were like, well, maybe it's a part of a control panel that fits in. No, it was as soon as that came out, I knew exactly what it was. This is going to be a control panel that you can use to play with your replicated, specifically for Golden Tee, because Golden Tee is a hard game to play on the replicate, I would imagine, with just one finger. We all saw the video of James jamming at the Golden Tee Arcade 1-Up. So imagine how hard it is to use the trackball with one finger. Obviously, you want more of that full scale hand, action. And yeah, they're going to get it from Glenn's deck. But we've got the big arcades coming. Maybe. Even though Shiloh said they're doing it, I still don't think it's written in stone, because I think what this is with Glenn's deck is a toe wetting activity. I think this is a test the market. So I think they're going to judge whether or not doing full size or one-for-one replications of arcades is possible based on the success of this product. So this is a toe wetting exercise just to see what the water's like. Is the water warm, lukewarm? What is it? Because there's something that you guys maybe don't realize. Like, this is something that New Wave Toys can do and they can take a risk on. But when it comes to full-size arcades, let's be honest, that's an all-in moment for New Wave Toys at this point. They don't have the warehouse space to deal with giant boxes with arcades in it. Are we going to build them? How's it going to work? Like, pretty much when New Wave Toys tries this, they either need to knock it out of the park and sell all of them, or the company's probably going to go out of business. So, as much as we want it and they've teased it and we feel we're owed it and entitled to it, I don't blame New Wave Toys for just being safe, being a little bit more safe. So I think Shiloh said they're going to do it, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Definitely not in 2024. So all hope of that New Wave Toys cab that we've been waiting since last September for coming out this year, I think you can put it in your pockets and save it for a rainy day, because it's not coming out this year. If anything, we'll probably see another replicate cabinet with another control deck. But I think as much as, I want to tell you differently, I don't see them making it this year. Paul, I'm with you. Paul, I'm with you. I'm with you. My disappointment is palpable. Palpable. Yeah, I wanted them to make the full-size arcade. I think there's a market for it, especially with Arcade 1-Up not, delivering on that demand from the community that's been shown to them over and over again through their massive Reddit community and also through their Facebook community. I don't know what to say, but obviously, New Wave Toys have a chance to get in, but I think they need to test the waters. I know. And Decadent Dave goes in a different direction. New Wave Toys need to do what they do best: 1/6 scale replicas, which maybe that's it. Maybe they shouldn't move off the 1/6 scale replica. Maybe they shouldn't be doing anything else, just making the replica arcades. I know a lot of people echo that in that community. They're really upset with New Wave Toys for all the different projects they've been doing, the different activities, and they want them to up production on the 1/6 scale replicas. I mean, that's what people fell in love for the companies for, not the other stuff they're doing, like the home pins, the mini pins, and the Zoltars. They just want arcades, but I don't know what the right answer is. I kind of like that wacky and wild stuff too. I really like the Coke fridge. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, guys. Anyways, unfortunately, that hope that we had for most of 2023 and 2024 turned out to be nada. We're getting an arcade product. Obviously, we're getting something that is going to have Glenn's controls in it, and you're going to be able to play it on a big screen TV all hooked up together if you're interested in doing so. But it wasn't the arcade we were hoping for. It wasn't the great hope that we were hoping for where we felt Arcade 1-Up was dropping the ball. So, that leads to the conversation. Where are we now? What do we have to be excited about? And I did just want to show you a couple things that we know has come out so far this year. So let's start with Arcade 1-Up. You already know this, but Arcade 1-Up's had a slow goddamn year. They haven't done anything. The only two cabs that have been announced right now at this point, X-Men 97 and Golden Tee 3D Deluxe. And the impression I get is that's it, guys. That's all we're going to see until September. And that's a real bummer. Even last year, even though you guys were upset, I mean, we had two new cabs. I don't know by this point, but we had two new cabs. We had Fast and the Furious Deluxe, and then shortly after that, we had Time Crisis, and then we had a glut of remakes in the deluxe factor, like Mortal Kombat, Class of 81, Pac-Man, Big Buck Hunter, Atari 50th. Oh my God, you're ugly. Galaga Deluxe, which was again Pac-Man again, but the Wheel of Fortune Casino-cade, even though nobody wanted it, and no one understood why it was made, at least they were trying things. There were three new arcade scale products that came out last year, and so far this year, we just got Golden Tee Deluxe and we just got X-Men 97 with nothing really on the horizon. It's May, and it doesn't look like we're going to see anything else from Arcade 1-Up until September. And then when September rolls around, if you listen to what people are saying, it's a possibility that it might be something that's somewhat cool in Miss Pac-Man XL. I mean, I'd be all down for that. I can't buy them here in Canada, so I'd have to figure out a way to get it imported into Canada. Maybe I can get someone to buy it at a Costco for me, and maybe it won't cost $300 to ship. Yeah, right. But, geez, if it's Miss Pac-Man, at least that's exciting. What won't be exciting is if the goddamn year of Golden Tee continues and the XL from Arcade 1-Up, like I've been hearing, is another Golden Tee. I mean, I don't get it, but it's possible that they're releasing another Golden Tee XL. The upside of that is for people that missed out on the Golden Tee XL the first time or didn't want to buy it because of the horrible screen, well, now you get one with the BOE monitor. The bad side of it is, man, if we're only doing one XL a year and we're already in retreads of XLs that came out in past years, that's really not a good sign. So I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know what's coming out from Arcade 1-Up this year, other than I know there's an XL going to be announced in September. You have to think they're going to release a couple more games before the holiday season. Like usually in September, we see games like last year we saw Street Fighter, Galaga Deluxe. I think Atari 50th came out roughly around that time. But yeah, like I don't know what to tell you guys. Like 2024 is rough for Arcade One Up. I don't know what happened, but we had so much hope going into the year. We had that leak list with all that crazy, wacky shit. Stuff like Alien versus Predator, Robotron, Neo Geo. And here we are, 5 months in. And we've got X-Men 97, which wasn't on the list, and Golden Tee Deluxe, which wasn't on the list. And I have to hope there's more coming. I have to hope September is going to be a shift. They're going to bring a bunch more stuff out, or I don't know. I don't think the company's in trouble. I don't think it's anything like that. I know people want to turn that narrative, but damn, what a boring year for those of us looking for new shit, man. What a boring year. But luckily, we're not just left with that. We do know that, AtGames is coming out with the ALU 4K at some point. That's going to be later in the year. But what about between now, May, and December? What happens between then? Arcade One Up, one more release, or maybe a couple more in September. What else do we have to look forward to? New Wave Toys, gone. Let's look at some other companies here. What about the Nova Blast? So this is something that is pretty exciting. The Unico Nova Blast. I hate this design. I hate this design with the two speakers up there. What a stupid looking cabinet. But I do like this, the more traditional Astro City. So here's the thing. Oh, no. I don't want that. Let me go back here, guys. 1 second. Get the stools out of there. This is the one I've been looking at. $16.99 Canadian. That's a lot of cheddar, but you're getting a 26-inch screen. You're getting a cabinet that's more familiar with a, candy cab, if that's your jam. So that's an option. But here's the thing. I hesitate to put this really into the home arcade space because even though this is, for all intents and purposes, a home arcade product, let's call a spade here. This is not your typical home arcade. And unless you're really good with, having a shell, like this is a shell. Basically, this is it. And you're either going to put, old arcade boards in it, a PC, Raspberry Pi, some kind of machine to make it run. And you're good with all that stuff. I don't know who this is for. This is a tinkerer's machine. It's going to do some really cool shit and it's going to be really cool. But this isn't for your average home arcade person. Okay, it kind of looks like a candy cab, if you're familiar with that. It's going to have a big old giant screen. You're going to be able to do cool shit with it, but it's expensive and you still don't have a brain in it running it and doing what you want. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. There's my buddy, 19K Fox. 19K Fox, are you on your way home now from Taipei? Here's the thing, man. Like, I think this Unico Nova Blast is super cool, but I don't know if it's for everybody in the home arcade community. There's a lot of work with it. Like, that's the truth. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, if you're going to pick up the Nova Blast, it's like picking up a project. It's like picking up like a Rec Room Masters cabinet and any of that stuff. This might be one of the best options you can get. Might be an awesome product, but it's not going to be plug and play. Like, you have to do work with it. And it is super friggin' expensive. So I don't know what to say here. Awesome comment, Stupid Fat Hobbit. This thing looks like the robot in Short Circuit. I don't know. Well, here's the other thing about this. This is also friggin' delayed. Like, this was supposed to be out in April. And to my knowledge, literally only one person in the world outside of the actual company has one. And that's Neo Severa on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, go check him out. Great follow. He has one. He's been doing lots of cool stuff with it, but no one else does. These haven't made it out to the consumer's hands yet. I don't know what the timeline is. 19K Fox might. I mean, he's at the plant right now building them. But I don't know what the timeline is. We were supposed to have these in April, and they're not out in people's hands yet. So this is another product that's delayed. And again, I don't even know if it fits into the home arcade space. I mean, I guess it does, but I don't know if it fits into the home arcade retail space. It's really cool, but it's also very, very on the edge, on the outside, like a Rec Room Masters cabinet. That's what I would say. James hates everything. He's up on it. They're talking July now, and KC Retro is mid-August. Hopefully shipping by then. All right, there you go. There's something on the wing. I friggin' love that. My favorite is when they did the Treehouse of Horror with the bus with Bert, and the gremlin was out on the bus. He killed Flanders. Yeah, and Joe knows. I mean, there's also other options. Like if you don't necessarily want the candy cab, you can also buy a Chulix. That's also an option too. I think for me, I'm going to be difficult. I would rather have a Nova Blast than a Chulix personally. And the reason why is it's got a 26-inch screen, 26-inch actual right orientation screen. Like I think the Chulix and the Viewlix, where they had the wide screen, they play more into playing more modern stuff. I would buy it to play retro stuff. So I don't know, guys. Anyways, Unico Nova Blast, that's an option, right? So I don't know if he's here, but I do want to talk about my good buddy, Kevin Clausen. And I know he's super excited about this because there is another option out there. The Iconic Arcade. So I saw a post earlier. I think it was on Facebook. Let me see if I can bring it up for you here now. I'm going to bring this down for a second. I'm going to talk to you while I look at this. I got to show you this. So the Iconic Arcade has been Canada and the UK only right now. And I've showed it a couple times on Store Surfing. This thing is kind of a piece of shit. I usually try to be positive about stuff, but there's not a lot to be positive about. Probably not even the price point, man. At $5.99, it still feels like it's just too much. I don't know what to say other than that, but I did see something today that did make me feel a little bit better about it, or a little bit different about it. So I want to show this. You guys may or may not know this. I actually host the Iconic Arcade official fan page, which is totally a joke page, but I do host it. So let's see if I can bring this up, because someone actually posted something today, the Iconic Arcade fan page, and it might be a name you remember. So let me just show you this here today. I don't know how accurate this actually is, but post from John Diamonin. I always say that wrong. But Iconic Arcade, all-in-one cabinet with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it looks like Iconic Arcade has gone through a bit of a rebranding. So gone is the crazy purpleness and shit like this. Oh, Iconic. Kevin Clausen, LOL, no lie. I joined 2 minutes ago. Go Iconic with the super chat. Thank you very much, Kevin. You're also my first super chat of the night. And you know what happens when I get my first super chat? You got to give the people what they want. That's got to be the best video ever. Anyways, perfect timing too, because the man is here. So Iconic Arcade doing a little bit of a rebrand. This one here actually looks a lot better in my opinion in terms of the design. It's not as loud. It's not as busy. I've been told that purple isn't a color a lot of people want on their home arcade products this year. But this has that cool like Midnight Express design that's so 70s, 80s down here in the bottom. I did share my comments. I like that it's not as busy now. Again, that's a wooden marquee. I wish there was a light up marquee. I also wish the wood wasn't so friggin' paper thin. I mean, $3.99 UK. And let me just see if I can bring up GameStop.com, because I don't know if it's still advertised on the front page. If not, I can search it pretty quick. Clicky keyboard time, guys. So here it is, $5.99. I thought it did go down to $4.99 recently, but at like $600 Canadian, for what it is, and it's essentially a Raspberry Pi in a cabinet build, a very awkward cabinet build. Let's take a look at this one over here. Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same design as this one here, exact same shape and everything. That wood is super thin, so you're not getting that quality of an arcade cabinet build. It's only got a 24-inch screen as opposed to the. Is it a 24-inch screen or is it 21? Let me go back and double check here. Uh, all right, screen 21-inch screen. I was giving it too much credit. So to give in comparison, the AtGames Legends Ultimate has a 27-inch full HD screen. So I mean, I just there's not a lot of jam with this. This has been a high point of the community this year for the wrong reasons. We've been making fun of it, not necessarily the right reasons. It's basically a Raspberry Pi in a very cheap built arcade without a lot of functions. The buttons aren't very great either. I wish Iconic Arcade I could help you out more, but I just can't. I don't know what to say. You're a product that maybe would have been much more exciting if you had come out a couple of years ago, not necessarily now at what arguably could be the tail end of the home arcade boom. I don't know. I will tell you, I talked to the guys down at GameStop. They haven't sold a lot here locally, but I can't say across Canada. I did run across one in the GameStop in Calgary. I thought that was pretty fun. Funny that they're everywhere, right? But Iconic Arcade. So we got to look at a new version of it. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Yeah, Jason knows. It's like Toy Shock. They would have sold thousands of these if it were 2017. If they got out the gates before anybody else, maybe this would have been a hit. But I just think, yeah. And a lot of people feel the same way too. I'm done with Raspberry Pi, right? I don't know. I want to know who buys one so I can unfriend them. That's not true, Kevin. You want to know who buys one so you can do a trade with them for one of your arcades you're trying to get rid of. Anyways, Iconic Arcade. Man, what a rough year. But all hope is not lost because I am going to show one other person here who this is the real hope that we have right now. This is outside of Arcade 1-Up, coming strong in the second half of the year in September with a couple of releases. Of course, I am excited for AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K machine, but we're also looking for this guy here. I got to close this damn message about this craziness. But I want to introduce you to this guy here who you may know. You may have seen him in a video or at least telling us about the new Iconic Arcade design. This is John Diamonin. And John is no longer with Arcade 1-Up. And a lot of people have been saying, where is he? What is he doing? There's a rumor out there that John D may be coming to market with his own home arcade product. And we don't know what it is yet. It could be, something similar to Arcade 1-Up. I mean, he obviously has experience. He knows the business. It's kind of like the Michael Scott Paper Company, right? If you watch The Office, he's coming out with the John D Arcade 1-Up Paper Company. So he can do that. He's got the great contacts. He was a licensing marble for them. He got them all the top brands. He's still got those connections. So maybe John's going to come out with his own arcade products, or maybe he's going to do something a little bit different because maybe there's a problem with Arcade 1-Up. Maybe when they're delivering their nostalgia, maybe it's not exactly what people want, and maybe they're looking for something a little bit different. I don't know what John's going to do, but there's rumors out there that he's coming out with a product, and I'm interested to see what it is. This is really, sadly, and I'm not saying sadly because I don't want it to be good, but after New Wave showed their hand on what they were doing this year, I mean, realistically, unless Arcade 1-Up, for people who like arcade recreations, not just, multicades and shit like that, people who want arcade recreations, this is probably our last hope. I mean, if John doesn't do it, I don't know what Arcade 1-Up has up their sleeve, but, I've been told it's going to be a slow year, and so far it has. So New Wave Toys hand was weak. Have I signed an NDA with John? No. John's not telling me shit. I wish he was. I don't have any information. So, anyways, that's John D. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve. I had heard a bunch of things, but it looks like at the end of the day, he's going to come out with his own product. Now, again, I do want to go back. I'm not trying to discredit what Glenn and New Wave Toys came out with last week, but I'm talking specifically about a recreation, large scale arcade. Not very carefully when I say recreation, of course, I mean like toy recreation, like we've been getting from Arcade One Up. And, what New Wave Toys came out with was cool, but I don't think it was what everybody was expecting and what the rumors were. I mean, all the way back to Cleveland, it was supposed to be like a competition with Arcade One Up product. And what they unveiled the other day is cool, but definitely not a competition with Arcade One Up product. We wanted a large scale arcade. So really, that narrowed the options down. That took that out. Then for multicades, we got other options. Of course, we got the ALU 4K coming out. But really, it's either Arcade One Up, and there's only one other game in town right now, possibly for this year, and that is John D. And if John D doesn't come out with that product, all hope, a lot of the hope I had, and a lot of the hope I'm sure a lot of you had, might have to be put away. And we might just have to suffer through 2024 and wait for 2025 when New Wave Toys can move on this larger scale cab. And then, of course, Arcade One Up, hopefully make a rebound. That's where we're to. I'm with you, Decadent Dave. Let's do it. I've said it 100 times. If I ran Arcade One Up, we'd get some really cool shit for about 3 months, and then the company would go out of business. Back to collecting full-size cabs. Yeah, a lot of people have. I mean, I made a video last year that got, taken out of context by other YouTubers, but like we talked about it. When these companies don't give us something, a lot of us people, not everybody, but people have expendable income. They want to go buy something and collect something and do something. And if you're not giving us stuff to do, stuff to buy, and stuff we're excited about, we're going to do other things. So people's interests have changed. I mean, we've lost creators in the space. Like you look at console kits. Console kits, I'd be hard pressed to see console kits back talking about Arcade One Up products in the future. I mean, obviously his passion is gone. His passion is now for pinball machines. Same with B. He made a video. He filled out his arcade. I don't know if he has much interest in the Arcade One Up stuff anymore. 19K Fox, his motto. John D good, Unico good, Arcade One Up bad. Yeah, there he is. 19K Fox is obviously giving up. No, 19K Fox is actually doing a lot of cool stuff with modding cabs, and there's a market for that too. For the people waiting on stuff, like honestly, a lot of us are just giving up waiting, and we'll just like screw it. We'll just make it ourselves, whatever we want. So, yeah. With nothing coming out, we can afford to buy a KI Pro this year. I'm going to say something that might surprise you. I have been having a lot of fun rebuilding my arcade by going out and finding deals this past year. So I managed to add 4 new Arcade One Up cabs, and they were all on sale. I could do the conversion another time, but I got T2 for $4.99, which was regular $8.49 when I originally bought it. I got Street Fighter 2 Deluxe for $538 Canadian. MK2 Deluxe for $4.99 Canadian, which is saved about $150, and I saved like $200 here Canadian on Street Fighter. And I just got Dragon's Lair, which I'm building now, which was $5.99, regular $7.99 when it came out in Canada. So I saved $200 on that one. So I've had fun buying those, but I will offer a little bit of caution about buying older one-ups. I just want to bring something up here. Just give me a minute here, guys, because I've been getting nailed on my Facebook fan page. And for those of you who don't know, I have a Facebook fan page. I had one before, and I had like 2,000 followers for my Facebook fan page. But unfortunately, my Facebook account got hacked, and I lost everything. Like my Facebook account was gone. I lost my fan page. So I restarted it again, and I put spaces in here because I couldn't give it the same name it had before. I've only got 206 followers now. So it kind of hurts a little bit that I don't get the 2,000 subscribers, but I got 206 followers, and they're good people. But anyways, I've been putting up posts, and I'm trying to figure out where it is. See if I can see the comments here. I don't know if I can see them. Maybe it's here. Where is it? This guy here, Tony Leonardo, keeps writing me, and he's like really upset about Arcade 1-Up, and he doesn't say don't buy their products. And he kind of spammed a couple of my posts, and I kept asking him, which arcade is it? Because I was trying to understand where he was coming from, because he bought an arcade, it didn't work, broke 4 months ago, and then he's trying to put it in an order. So eventually he wrote me, and it was an older cab. Let me see if I can find the right one, because he was writing me everywhere. I'm trying to find out where it is. Not here. Hold on. I gotta find it. Let me find it. Was it here? Tony? Nope. I don't know where he wrote, but he eventually told me. And it's actually it's an older cab. Like that was the problem. It was an older cab. And so he is trying right now to get replacement parts for this older cab that he has, and he's in this huge wait. See, the thing is, Arcade 1-Up's replacement parts, like, I don't think they just have a stockpile of replacement parts. Usually, a lot of times, their replacement parts come from spare cabs they have. So if you're buying older cabs now, and then you're thinking, well, I can always count on Arcade 1-Up to replace them, to do warranty, that's not a guaranteed thing. Like, if you buy an older cab and, like, say the PCB's gone or there's a part broken, there's a chance, even though Arcade 1-Up will get you paid for it and charge you, that they may never have parts again, because they're not going and remaking parts for these cabs from 3 years ago. Like, if you buy a Golden Axe today and there's a problem with it, how likely are you to be able to get replacement parts for it? I'm a little concerned, like, seeing his post. I've seen a couple other of people having to pay for replacement parts and then wait a really long time. At some point, some parts just aren't going to be available. So, hey, Jason, thanks for pointing that out. I got to change that. I am doing that. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, and there you go. Look at this. Took me 7 months to get parts for my 2023 Galaga Deluxe. I can't get a new gasket seal for my vintage 1923 Sibian machine. This company sucks. Well, it's possible, but like I just be wary buying older cabs. I'm having fun with it. I fingers crossed everything's worked so far. My T2 has been great. Fingers crossed my Dragon Lair is going to be great. But again, if you're buying these older products of products they're not making anymore, parts are going to be hard to come by at some point. PCBs and stuff like that. You might have to look on Amazon and other shit. I did want to warn you guys about that. Keep that in mind when you're buying the older stuff. So there's that. But really quickly, correct Facebook page, Jason Little Alien. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you sharing it. You're a good dude. Anyways, so here's the positive. We know the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K is coming out in December. We don't know if they're going to change anything. A lot of people didn't like the way it looked. I really like the form factor. I hope they keep that, because making it look more like a real arcade as much as possible, that's a good thing. So we'll see when that comes out, and we'll see what cool stuff we can do. Of course, they're going to have Killer Instinct playing on it. What I'm really excited about for that with the ALU 4K is seeing what it can do from the modding side, because we know right now, people have had years working with the AtGames Legends Ultimate. Let's see what the ALU 4K can do. I know there's some people out in the community that are like, at games, I won't buy anything because coin ops doesn't work anymore. And there's some confusion about that because I've done all the updates and you can see back there, coin ops is working just fine. No issue. So that's not 100% true. I know they are moving to their own internal device called the general loader, which might change things in the future, but keep in mind, Shreddy B, it's already there. It's already there. I would go out tomorrow, and buy a Gen 1 Centipede. I would, 100%. I really super regret selling that cab. 100%. And yeah, you're going to see it. I think maybe in 10 years' time, people will look back on this crazy, great little hobby we had and being able to go out and buy these arcade cabinets and say, man, wasn't that cool? I wish we could do that again. Assuming that, we're not going to be able to. I don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, I don't know. JJ, let's read your comment here. Here's the thing, old retro games don't need a 4K monitor. Modern pinball games like Zen, sure, that makes sense, but arcade games, nope. I don't disagree with you, JJ. It's not the 4K, which I'm interested in for the ALU 4KP or the ALU 4K. What I'm interested in is the new chipset and what they can do with the new chipset. Are there new games that are possible to play on it that we can't play on our ALU already? That's the big thing. And also, obviously, if it's a 4K screen, hopefully OTG on it works a lot better if you want to plug your PC in and play modern games. Yes, Thor KC, that's another one because I can tell you after the issues I had with my bit LCD marquee and wires that have to be external, keep in mind that my cats get into, the built-in bit LCD marquee is a huge upgrade. Definitely agree with you. Tastemaker is more like trend masters, and the trend is sailed. Yeah. Pitbull, I didn't say one-ups are going to last 10 years. I said in 10 years' time, maybe we'll be nostalgic to be able to just go out and buy something you wanted to buy. What are the odds that coming XL is a burger time? Who doesn't want Karate Champ online? Man, Jay Pace, let me tell you something, brother. If the coming XL was a burger time, you would see a fat Canadian man do a backflip out of this chair and then figure out a way to buy one immediately because, I want them all XL. And something like that would be super cool. Like, I didn't hear the rumors that everybody else heard about the Burger Time Deluxe last year. Like, left field for me. I didn't hear that anywhere. Apparently, Travis was telling people that. I would have been all over that, man. Burger Time. Really super cool. So, yeah, 100%. All right, guys. So, anyways, that's as much as I want to go in that. Like, I just wanted to just give a place to vent, really, for other people and kind of state my opinion and move past this now. Like the New Wave Toys thing, the minute we saw Glenn's school desk that he advertised, I mean, it was at that point I knew like this isn't what we thought it was going to be. So when it was officially announced, I was already okay with it. I didn't have the negativity a lot of other people did because I knew at that point it was over. But I did want to say, there is still hope, but it's limited now. We got to be clear about that. If you want specifically arcade recreations, whether XL, 3/4, or other, and you want them in 2024, so the remaining 7 months, there's really only two options that we have at this point. Either Arcade One Up surprises us and releases a bunch of cabinets between September and December for the holiday season. Maybe they do something cool. Or the other option is John D. Whatever John D is working on. We were supposed to know in April, the one-upper, as 19K Fox lovingly calls it. So we'll see. Stockjock, I saw you earlier, man. Thank you very much. I want to vent for us, Michael B. the Game Genie. We need a Robotron. We certainly do. We need something to be excited about. Right now, like specifically for And I'm being very clear here, arcade recreations, like if you're that kind of person that wants to buy these, toy recreations of original arcade cabinets, other than, really small scale, replicate and, quarter arcades, slim pickings, and it's been slim pickings all year. And even one of those arcades didn't even look like a traditional arcade. It was this mix up mashup with X-Men 97. So yeah. See, we're not going to get Robotron stock jock, and I understand the reasoning. It's going to be Robotron on a Smash TV cab if they ever do it, and it's 100% for this reason, because they got to do the 4 sticks for Smash TV and Total Carnage. Cyber Siles. In the words of Van Vogue, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Maybe. Now, if you guys just want like multicades, again, options coming. So you guys ask me questions. If just put question there so I can see it. If you have a specific question you want me to answer in the next 10 minutes, put question there and then ask your question. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for you, I am just gonna again mention this. Like, if you want multicades, there's a lot of options. There's the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K coming in December at the end of the year, but also at some point, like James Hates Everything said, July, we should be getting the Unico Nova Blast. So this should be coming out. Keep in mind, again, it's a shell. So you are going to have to put your own brain in there, whether that's a real arcade PCB, whether that's a, retro tank, Raspberry Pi, console, Mister, whatever you want to put in it, you're going to have to put your own brain in it. There you go. Unico paid sponsor. Oh, Decadent Dave. All right, here we go. Stardust says, do you think AtGames will provide another early pre-order deal on upcoming 4KP skins? I don't know that one. I would think so, yeah, but I think they're going to hold off for a while, and they're going to sell as much as they can of the inventory they currently have, because as soon as they come out with a new one with a new skin, it'll devalue what they already have in store. So I think they're going to do the whole 15 like they said, but I think maybe they're going to hold off on the releases for right now. So yeah, good question. So let's go down here. Question. Will there be another store surfing so we can get more iconic arcade updates? Yes. I actually bought something over the last couple of weeks that is going to help with store surfing. Scarlett really likes doing it too. I bought a gimbal. I think it's called a gimbal because I do store surfing from my actual cell phone. So I bought this gimbal. So hopefully that'll mean steadier video, better looking video and stuff like that. So more store surfing coming. It's just, I don't want to do it like every week or multiple times a week because there's not that many stores here. So I don't want to just be like in Best Buy saying, what do you guys think? Like, it's Best Buy. So when there's something to talk about, I got some footage the other day. I actually recorded some footage of picking up my Dragon's Lair arcade one up yesterday. So that'll be in the next episode too. Soul Red, I'd like to see a re-release of the Atari cab with better art. You and me both, brother. What a stupid idea Atari 50th was. From what I told, that's what Atari wanted. What a stupid idea. If that was an Asteroids cab, none of us would be talking about Atari 50th the way we were. Although I did hear that that also had a line of sight issue. So, eesh. My dream release, as Stock Jock knows, Robotron 2084. One for one, Robotron 2084, a couple other ones just to throw it in because not to be so obvious, obviously Donkey Kong. I think a Donkey Kong cab would be amazing if they ever did any Nintendo cab. If they could only do one, Donkey Kong's the one to do. And then it's a weird one, but one of my personal favorites is G.I. Joe. They could do G.I. Joe. I would say WrestleFest because that's an arcade I would love to have.
But if they ever did a WrestleFest, the licensing issues would be a nightmare. The only way to do it is if there was no licensing issues. 100%. Yeah, Scuppy, I don't disagree with you, but it's not for everybody, right? It's in that weird space where it's a multicade shell, kind of like a Rec Room Masters, but it does fill that home arcade nostalgia piece for people that are nostalgic for the candy cab. So yeah, it's a really interesting piece. I agree. Good comment, Thor KC. That's why I prefer Numskull and New Wave Toys. They're the only companies really making arcade recreations. Arcade 1-Up are not to any real scale, and only a few of them even resemble the originals. I agree, Thor KC. It's when they do the originals pretty well, like the special cabs. I bought my Dragon. Well, I got Dragon's Lair again. It's my second Dragon's Lair. The first time, actually, the Brick gave it to me as a review cab. The Brick, not Arcade 1-Up. The Brick gave it to me. I bought this one, my own money. That's how much I liked it. So, yeah. And while I was just opening it up and playing through it, I was like, I wonder if this will be the last special cab that Arcade 1-Up makes. And you know what I'm talking about. Those really special cabs, like when you put together your Star Wars, when you put together Tron, when you put together Dragon's Lair, you know you're putting together something special, something unique, and something you're lucky to have. And I don't know if they'll do it again. What gaming product do you want to try that you haven't tried yet? Ooh, that's a really good question. I've tried a lot of stuff. What gaming product? All right, I'm not going to go into pinball because pinball would be an easy answer because I can't play pinball here in Newfoundland. But I will say, this is probably a stupid one, but I haven't really got into analog yet, and I wish I had jumped in when I had a chance. It just seemed like it was so expensive. I wish I had bought the analog NT, the analog Nintendo system. I wish I had bought all the analog systems while I had a chance. I don't know why I didn't. They just seem so expensive. But one of the big reasons, like why I, got out of collecting my carts, another one was it seemed so friggin' expensive. Like, in order to keep going and use my own carts to record like footage from gameplay and stuff like that, like at the time, the only real way to do it was to buy a FrameMeister and then have your consoles RGB modded and then play them through the FrameMeister. So it didn't seem like there was a path forward for getting really good looking footage other than emulation. Then I was like, why the hell do I got the games anyways? And there was other reasons, but I wish I had invested in the analog products back early on. And I would have got an analog NT, analog Mega, the Genesis one, Super Nintendo, and the Turbo. I wish I had gone back and tried those. So probably not the answer you were looking for, but yeah, 100%. Oh, James hates everything. Yeah, that's true. AtGames said no more pre-orders, so maybe there won't be I still think there'll be a sales discount. Like I will give you an example. I know when the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K was announced, a lot of people used the price point that was shown on the slide as a talking point to get attention, saying, "I can't believe this company is charging this much for this." People got to find these negative hooks to get attention, but I know that's going to be cheaper. Like we're talking probably $9.99 when it's first announced, limited price. I've got a really good feeling about that. So I don't know about the pinball machines with skins. I don't know, but I know when the AtGames Legends Ultimate 4K comes out, they're going to do. I don't know if it'll be a pre-order, but you're going to get a early adopter discount. That's what I would say. You and me both, Marty. You and me friggin' both, man, because that's one of those things, man. Like when this company first came out, and then the year 2 and year 3, it was so friggin' exciting because you saw when they first came out with, and you were like, oh man, it'd be so cool if they could do this. And then they did it. They went out and got games like Mortal Kombat, Final Fight, not everybody for some. And then the next year after that, they got Star Wars, Turtles, Marvel superheroes. So thinking about what it could have been, and now seeing, I still have hope. I still have hope that they can still pull it out, but man, that retail stuff just sucks. Yeah, again, a lot of people excited about the Unicab. I don't blame you on that. That's the big one, Gene G. That's what we're all waiting on right now. So for people that were waiting on some kind of arcade recreation, more full size in 2024 from New Wave Toys, obviously what Glenn and New Wave Toys are doing is very cool. Toe wetting exercise to the possibility in the future of full size cabs, but we're not going to get something this year. He is. Well, John D teases everything. Everything John D does is a goddamn tease. Chris, it's so good to see you, Chris. Like, it's been a while, man, since I've seen you regularly in one of these chats. So really good to see you. I might be missing the chats. I've been interviewing people the last couple of weeks. I don't intend to stop doing that, but I haven't been as connected to the chat as I normally am. So I apologize, guys. Vic Vicious, I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. Day one buy, 100%. Like I talked to John D about it. That'd be a tough one, man. Unless they get Hasbro to be cool about it, it'd probably be a one-game cab, right? So I hope they do it. See, Chris, this is exactly what I said. Exactly why Arcade 1-Up needs to go crowdfunding. Retailers running the show just continue to ruin it for the consumer, 100%. They need to figure out a way to make direct-to-consumer work. I think the problem right now with direct-to-consumer is I don't think they have the money to fund their cabs themselves. I think they need some kind of commitment. Maybe crowdfunding is an option. I don't know why they're hesitant to do it. I know I'm a little bit over. Just got a Mister. I've heard good things about the Mister. I want to go back. That's a funny story, Sock Jock. Really good question. It's probably not what you think it was. So my first arcade game I ever played was Punch-Out. And I don't even like Punch-Out, but the reason why it was the first is I didn't go into the arcades much because you got to think about it. I didn't go into the arcades until around I was 9 years old because my parents were a little bit nervous about me hanging out in the mall by myself, obviously, when I was really young. So I wasn't going into the arcades, but once Turtles came out, like all bets were off. I had to go play it. So that was the first big thing that drew me into the arcades. But the first arcade game I ever played was Punch-Out because we had one at our local airport. And I remember being, I think it was like 7, 8 years old, being at the airport, waiting for my Aunt Gloria to come in from Nova Scotia. And we were just stuck waiting and our plane was delayed. And I convinced my parents to give me a couple quarters. And they had a Punch-Out machine there. So I went and played old wire form Punch-Out. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Good question. Probably not the game you were expecting. No love for the Analog Pocket. Maybe. Now, Alex, you might be right on that. For the replacement PCBs, you might be in luck, but a lot of people are still saying that like they're months and months and months out. So, yeah. Hey, Headshake, good stuff. Oh, Jason Little Alien, Arcade Tits Up. No, it's not Arcade Tits Up. You guys, I've said this before, and I'll say it once again. I 100% believe this. Even if the company loses a lot of us in the community, they'll still keep running. They'll run at a minimal operation, just doing whatever the retailer works, eking by. They won't go out of business, but they certainly won't be the force they once were, right? I did not make it to Boogie's Burgers. I made a mistake. I should have made it to Boogie's Burgers, but I stupidly, I had one dinner where I refused to get dinner at the hotel with everybody else. I was like, I'm going to order from DoorDash. So I ordered Smash Burger, and because I had just read it, I should have got Boogie's then from DoorDash, and I would have had time because I really only had time to go to one burger place, and I chose Class Clown because that's what everybody was saying.
more ALP 4KP content if you got some time, MB. I was going to do it last night. I actually just went and bought a cable to replace the cable I lost so I can show the actual DMD on my setup when I have the camera and everything. So yeah, there's plans. I bought, not got for review. I bought Star Trek last night. No, the first night I got home. And I only played it once, so I don't have a lot to say about it. But my plan is maybe tomorrow night to do an hour-long live stream playing Star Trek Next Generation for you guys. So we'll go through it together. That's the rumor, Gabriel. That's the rumor, my man. Yeah, and zero. If that's the other thing I said too, for people waiting for John D to release like Qbert and stuff like that. John's one of the big reasons they didn't do Qbert. I would think that his company is probably, going to be more tailored to his interests. So I expect some fighting game stuff. I don't know if we're going to get a lot of 80s titles from whatever John D comes out with. Yes, NBA game today. I know they released a teaser the other day, and surprisingly, like immediately, Cool Toy put up what it was on Twitter, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So even though the trailer came out today and it looks pretty dope, I've seen what it was for a couple days because Cool Toy leaked it. Oh, Calvin, that's something I understand, but I don't think we'll ever get that where it's the a la carte option with our cabs, like to figure out what monitor we want in it. I don't think it will be as much as I would like. Anyways, guys, I would love to stay here. You know me, I'm a long talker and I go long on these things, usually last 2 hours, but I don't want to overburden you tonight. And Atul, good to see you, buddy. Atul's become a big pinball guy recently. So I don't want to overburden you. I've been doing a lot of 2-hour streams. So I'm going to call it an early night tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully it wasn't as doomy and gloomy as it was, but I did want to, give a chance for us to hold a Irish wake for the concept of New Wave Toys doing a full-scale arcade in this calendar year. Hopefully gave you some clarity, like for people who want specifically arcade recreations, hopefully Arcade 1-Up steps it up because there ain't a lot of other options. And hopefully soon we find out what John D's doing. And it's something in that same vein. So at least then we have another option. The only thing with John D is, for those of you expecting the same New Wave Toys type treatment that's not retail, I think it is going to be retail. I mean, it's John. I don't think John's going to be making, Qbert. I don't think John's going to be making Food Fight. I think John's going to be making Street Fighter Alpha. That would be my guess. Anyways, I won't keep you all night. You guys go have a wonderful night. I don't know if P-Dubs is streaming, but he talked about doing something from Denver. I don't know if he did it an hour before me, an hour after. Go check him out or go find someone else to talk to on YouTube. There's lots of cool people out there. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for making my first night back from my trip to Calgary so good. Oh, geez, I forgot to tell you this. Okay, one last thing, guys. I do got to tell you about this. So, really quickly, for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I had a really close call in Calgary. Yeesh. So I'll show you the whole story now through my Twitter feed, and then we'll go back from there. So little after the bell type stuff, I'm going to be quick because I know there's other people on and stuff like that. So Kevin, don't leave just yet. I got to tell you about my run-in. So the very last night I was in Calgary, I was determined I want to go play some pinball, and my trip was wild. Like, we were in meetings all day long, all night long. They're always like this. So there was very limited opportunity to go. And also you got to keep in mind the time difference. It's 3.5 hours later there. So by the time we were done meetings at like 8-9 o'clock at night, that was like 12:30, 1 o'clock back where I'm to. So I didn't have a lot of steam. So the last night I was there, I was determined I was going to go play pinball. And, obviously the guys wanted to do Super Game Room, dude. So I wanted to accommodate that. So I never got to pinball till 9 o'clock. And I went to this place here. Oh, I got to click on the actual picture. I went to Hidden Spot Entertainment and Arcade Bar, which is the largest pinball place in all of Calgary. They had 19 machines. And now I'll go up and show you the Stern lineup. This is just their Stern lineup, and there's a couple misnomers in the middle there. There's a Total Nuclear Annihilation. I know pinball guys love it. I'm not. I'm a pinball novice, so I don't like it. I don't get it. But then again, I'm not a expert pinball guy. And then there's a Gottlieb Super Mario Brothers there, so that's a fun one. We have one of these locally at the little pinball place that's open, so I can go play that there. But look at all the Stern goodness. What a lineup. We had Venom, Deadpool Pro, Elvira House of Horrors, where I spent most of my night, Jurassic Park, which is good. I ended up playing a lot of 007. That game is much better than I originally thought it was, the limited plays I had on it. Played a lot of Stranger Things. You guys know how I feel about that. Played a lot of Jaws, too. Jaws is really good. The only thing I'll say about Jaws, this was a Jaws Pro. Jaws Pro is fucking fantastic. The only thing I noticed, though, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of lights in the playfield, which I find it kind of muted. Like there's lights and you can see it, but there's not a lot of lights. So it was kind of strange. So anyways, I got to this place. They also had some other pinball machines, older ones. I got to play like Flash Gordon for the first time. I played Stern Star Trek, the Kelvin Star Trek one. That's actually a really good game. I enjoyed that as well. So anyways, I was there drinking, playing that for a couple hours, until I went out to go home, and I went to get my Uber, and this gentleman here asked to borrow my cell phone. And being the stupid, gullible person from Newfoundland I said, "Sure, Chief." And then he started taking my phone and going through my pictures, asking me questions about my family. Started making like really weird comments. Like he looked at me at one point and said, You didn't build nothing." And I was like, okay. I didn't even know what he meant by that. But anyways, he was getting more and more animated because he had just got kicked out and he wanted to find the manager. He was going nuts. He started like threatening me, telling me he was gonna like do stuff to me. Then he started telling me, like, he said, "Do you do drugs?" And I was like, "No." And then he was like, "Do you want to buy some? I could get you some. Let's go get drugs." Then he started threatening me some more, and I started getting like freaked out. The dude was just supposed to make a phone call, but then he took a picture of himself. He started taking pictures of himself. So I'm there freaking out. Normally, like honestly, he was like 4'3". I should have just clocked him in the head, but he was reaching in his pocket. And I was terrified that he had like a concealed weapon, like a knife or something. So I didn't really want to do anything. I was just trying to get my phone back. I made a joke of it a little bit because at one point he was taking more selfies. He turned on the black and white filter and got a picture of us together. But like, what a horrible experience. Finally, like, he started to run away from me with my phone, and I managed to just stop him really quickly. And I grabbed my phone because I needed it. That's how I was getting home from my Uber. And I like, luckily, I was right by the door, so I went in. Security went in and called the cops. But just this is the third time this has happened to me in my life that I was stupid enough to be gullible. Like, it's happened twice before. Last time, me and my wife were in Atlanta for WrestleMania, and we were with a group of people walking home from the Hall of Fame, and some random guy just stopped on a bicycle asking us questions. Next thing you know, it's just me and my wife talking to this one guy, and he's demanding money from me, telling me about how like he just got out of jail for murder. And he was like basically getting ready to rob us before my friends came around the corner. This guy, Mitch, that knew here from Newfoundland, his dad just happened to be a cop. This is like the only thing that happened. I have to tell myself, when you're out somewhere and someone tries to talk to you, don't always be nice. Sometimes you're just going to say, "Listen, man, I ain't got time right now," and go inside, because every now and then something like this will happen and it can go horrible. Which it almost did. So, anyways, never help anybody ever. Yeah, it was bad, man. Like he had like tattoos under his eyes, and like I don't know, like, sometimes it doesn't mean anything. People just get them. Other times it means stuff. So I was a little bit terrified. So sometimes be a dick. My wife told me afterwards the appropriate protocol when someone asks to use your phone now is you say you'll dial the number and put it on speakerphone so they can talk. So I've got to clearly remember that. Don't give people your phone. Anyways, that's just my weird story. I gotta laugh at it a little bit. This guy was completely off his rocker. At least we got a nice black and white picture together, right?
Anyways, I won't take up any more of your time than that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, guys. This has been fun talking about something that, in a year that hasn't been all kinds of fun because we haven't got a lot of cool stuff. Hopefully the second half is a lot more exciting. Hopefully Arcade 1-Up can turn around, give us some cool shit, and hopefully John D does something very cool as well. So at least we have some options for arcade recreations in a large scale that we can put in our home and play and feel like we're at a real arcade or something like that. Anyways, I got to bring this comment up. Jason, that is perfect. Maybe you should have used the John D. No. COVID. Oh. Stock jock. Well, that's exactly what happened to me when I met you the first. That beer hug scared the crap out of me. I'm sorry. No, I avoided getting mugged. He tried to take my phone. I managed to get it back, but close call. All right. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Have a wonderful Monday night. We'll see you a couple more times this week, I'm sure. And definitely at one point, I'm going to do a little Star Trek The Next Generation gameplay on the 4KP, and we'll tackle this stuff together. Anyways, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Chill and chat. Michael B.